In this video, we go over the headquarters of the Synod of Strategic Prophecy and ask, where could this valley be? I have a guess, so welcome back to the trenches and let's begin. The Valley of the Word serves as both the headquarters and spiritual home of the Synod. Its location remains one of the most closely guarded secrets in all of Christendom, a hidden temple nestled deep within a remote European gorge, where the very stones help to amplify the echo of God's words. Some say this sacred valley was the first place on earth where creation began. Within its bounds, one feels like the weight of an intense gaze that pierces all shadows and falsehoods, a pressure that reveals your innermost thoughts and exposes the deepest recesses of the soul. Few can withstand walking these hallowed grounds without bowing their heads in submission. But above all, the valley is the only place on earth where one can learn the superhuman skills of the observers, the warrior monks of the order. It is the sole source of Tacticians of the Synod, who allow communion with the Council of Saints. It is no wonder then that the cost for those who find the valley without permission to enter is steep, a lifetime of servitude as a lay brother or sister. These unwilling initiates, alongside willing volunteers, compose the army of servants and menial labourers, known as receptors. Their brains are partially replaced with receivers attuned to the Word of God, transmitted from the powerful arrays atop the temple of the Word. The floor of the valley itself forms the cloister of the temple, a vast expanse covered with arrays of dishes, antennae, radio telescopes and listening posts, all straining towards the heavens to communicate with God. Here the supplicants of the Synod send their prayers, pleas and questions into the firmament, listening intently for an answer back. The cryptic messages they receive are processed through great difference engines designed by the Synod's ordained engineers, then translated, analysed and studied by scholar monks from the many monasteries. Each monastery specialises in their own area, ranging from subjects such as the woman clothed in sun, the great beast, or interpreting the sounds of angelic trumpets. The Synod's agents tirelessly scour sanitariums and asylums, searching for those who claim to hear the words of the Almighty. They are rare, and many are charlatans. Younger children with the gift hear clearer than adults, so are valued assets to the Synod. The valley is home to all manner of workshops and foundries, which produce the armaments of the observers. The most important of these is the calefactory, where the wondrous oculus helmets are created out of pure aurichalcum, each one a unique masterpiece of engineering and craftsmanship. Since no two souls experience the voice of God the same, every oculus helmet is custom made, attuned to its wearer's unique spiritual resonance. These helmets allow the warrior monks and nuns to extract righteous guidance from a divine narrative spanning from the dawn of creation to the present moment and into the distant future. Scattered across the valley floor are hundreds of monastic cells, each home to an observer, a highly trained warrior monk of the Synod. Specially constructed walls block all external interference, radiation, light waves, even the faintest sounds are eliminated, so that nothing can disrupt their communion with the voice. The observers emerge only twice a day for simple meals, and each day, save on Sabbath, when they fast, they train for 6 hours in martial combat. One day is devoted to the practice of using the resonance of their oculus helmets, allowing them to use the voice of God to command any being in creation, if only for a fleeting moment. Otherwise, silent meditation is their recourse. They leave only when urgent things happen. At the very heart of the valley, surrounded by the cells of the observers, stands the Gate of God, a colossal steeple tower that serves as a conduit for receiving the holy words. Yet the great central tower remains incomplete. For generations, the Synod's finest minds have experimented with countless different arrays and variants of the sacred geometry, trying to construct the perfect receptor, one that will receive the voice of God with absolute clarity. The tower is circled day and night by processions of the arcs, of the signal. The bearers of these arcs, who are fashioned after the Ark of the Covenant and integrated with sophisticated radio arrays, are permanently connected to them with synaptic cables and chemical tubes. They labour ceaselessly to locate the optimal position for the ark they bear on each given day, so that the Synod can capture the most elusive words of God beyond the reach of the main arrays of the tower. This is similar to the tabot. These are blessed replicas of the Ark of the Covenant, a priest that accompanies the forces of the King of Kings to New Antioch. They will take the holy tablet with them, wrapped in silk cloth decorated with gold string. Its miraculous powers reward those who perform virtuous deeds on the battlefield. And back to the Synod. Each year the gate of God rises higher. Its maze-like network of antennae, loudspeakers and receptors emit a hymn of every language ever spoken, echoing through the valley of the Word as the Synod tries to tap directly into the words of creation. Despite generations of labour, the General Secretariat of the Synod remains unsatisfied. The lay brothers toil endlessly, seeking to hear the Creator's voice with no interference. Beneath the central tower, deep within the valley's bedrock, dwell the prophetic Tacticians, the most precious assets of the Synod. These gifted children are surgically, genetically and chemically altered to make them perfectly suited to their role. They are equipped with strange and esoteric equipment that allows them to hear the words of God. Their seclusion is even more extreme than those of the observers, and the strain on their bodies and minds is far more severe. They are implanted with the devices that allow their very being to reverberate with the voice of God, and they can be connected to the machinery of the Synod. The younger they are when their training begins, the better, the stronger their connection, for the closer they are to innocence, the easier it is for them to hear the divine words. Some chambers, even deeper within the tower's foundations, are guarded by a cadre of watchers, the most elite warriors of the temple, crowned by horns of light. What lies behind these doors remains a mystery, but some claim to have seen the alchemists of the Iron Sultanate passing through, and whispers persist of monstrous wailing echoing from behind their 100-ton vault doors. If there is any truth to these rumours, none can say, but they only add to the awe-inspiring reputation of the Synod. In recent years, the War Cardinal has voiced criticism of the Synod, likening their tower to the hubristic act of the Tower of Babel, which God ended up making come down. Some claim his objections are less theological than political, for the Synod is becoming an independent army outside the control of the princes of the Church. But, for now, this schism remains a war of words rather than swords. So where could this valley be? When Moses took the Ten Commandments, this was on Mount Sinai in Egypt, and it tracks that a place where the word of God has been heard in the past could be a place that it's heard in the present of the Trench Crusade. In other words, it's a good place to tune into him again. Or wherever the Garden of Eden was, that's also a possibility, though there's great debate on where exactly that could be. So let me know what you think to this law, and if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, then why not try this one?